Hello guys, it is Gated Theories here, and today we are going to be looking at the brand new Aardman movie, Shaun the Sheep Farmaggedon. This is the second Shaun the Sheep movie, and let me tell you, I didn't really have that much high hopes for this movie, but when I went to see it, it was actually pretty good. Like, compared to the first one, it wasn't very good, but it was still a pretty good movie. And what it did do was change a lot of the ways we thought this whole world of Shaun the Sheep worked, sort of. So today we're going to be looking at timeline theories, which is the idea that every single movie from a certain movie company is all actually taking place on one timeline, where every single movie from a company is all in one timeline and connected. And Aardman is a very good example of this, because we have lots and lots of different Aardman movies, and for example we've got the Aardman movie Wallace and Gromit. We even see Shaun the Sheep in that movie, and then we end up getting his own movies and his own TV shows. So that's sort of what I'm meaning. Basically, movies on a timeline that are connected. And we have done our very own Aardman theory, trying to connect all the different Aardman movies into one timeline and to see where on earth each different movie would go. And if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend you go and check it out by clicking the card up there, because it will tell you a lot more information about it. But anyway, today we're going to be adding Shaun the Sheep Farmaggedon into this long timeline full of the different Aardman movies, because it sort of changes how the timeline works a bit. Again, if you haven't seen it, there will be a link in the description down below. And as always, since we're adding it into the Aardman theory, we're also going to add it into our very own personal timeline theory, the ultimate timeline theory. Now that's basically the idea of every single animated movie from all the different companies, Disney, from Pixar, from Aardman, from DreamWorks, from Blue Sky, from all of them, are all in one giant timeline, like a huge timeline just full of loads and loads of different animated movies. And of course, Shaun the Sheep is an animated movie, it's part of that timeline. We've added it in. So today, we're also going to be adding Shaun the Sheep Farmaggedon into the ultimate timeline theory. And again, if you haven't seen that one, we will leave a link up there on the card to our playlist, or in the description as well. Make sure you've checked those videos out, guys. But today, we're going to be working out how this brand new movie about sheeps and aliens all fits into either timeline. Let's get on with it. But before we go any further, if you haven't already, make sure you click that red subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and make sure that your notifications are turned on. So the first timeline that we're going to start with is how on earth this brand new movie fits into the Aardman theory. Now, the Aardman theory contains movies such as Early Man, Chicken Run, Wallace and Gromit, like I said before, and of course Shaun the Sheep movie. And of course, where Shaun the Sheep Farmaggedon is going to go is straight after Shaun the Sheep movie, because it is a sequel. But it changes things slightly to what the timeline means. So this timeline focuses on mainly the advancement in human technology, a advancement in animals getting smarter, and the advancement in humans getting smarter. So technology, humans, and animals. And we see throughout the movies lots and lots of different things getting smarter, involving animals, humans, and technology. And Wallace and Gromit, which is where Shaun is first introduced, is a brilliant few movies to actually realize just how much technology is growing. In fact, in the first movie, we see them build a rocket and they go to space. Now here's where things get a bit different. You see, in the first film with Wallace and Gromit, they go to space and then they meet like a sort of dishwasher type robot alien thing that is there on the moon, which does show that there's technology outside of Earth, there's technology in space, and there could be chances of alien life, but in Wallace and Gromit it doesn't really show that much. Then, as the Wallace and Gromit movies go on, the technology starts getting smarter and smarter, and then we get to the Shaun the Sheep movie, which is just like a normal, like, everyday movie. But then, when we get to Farmageddon, we see that technology has rose so much, and it's also been rising a lot in outer space, because we see an alien come down to Earth, and we see the amazing technology that the alien catcher has on Earth, and we see the amazing technology that the aliens, UFO, and spaceship and parents have. And this is because as time has gone on through the timeline, the technology in this Aardman universe has been growing and growing ever since Wallace and Gromit, and now it is at the point where we've got alien life. And then the Aardman theory basically stops, because Shaun the Sheep Farmaggedon is the last movie. But if Aardman were going to create another movie, if it had alien technology in, or if it had aliens in, or if it had space, or if it had like some sort of amazing technology, it would most likely go after Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon, because this is basically the introduction to alien life. We had all this technology and all this space stuff set up a couple of movies before in Wallace and Gromit, and now it's became a reality as we finally meet aliens for the first time, and that is shown here. Okay, now let's move on to how on earth this brand new Shaun the Sheep movie will fit into the ultimate timeline theory. Now, it is kind of similar to how it fits into the Aardman Theory, but a little bit different. Now, of course, it's going to fit in the same place. It's going to go straight after Shaun the Sheep movie, which goes straight after Wallace and Gromit, because these three movies are very, very similar, considering they all have the exact same characters in. However, with the Aardman Theory, aliens had never really been introduced. They'd been touched upon. We had all that technology with the first Wallace and Gromit movie and A Grand Day Out, where they go to the moon, meet a sort of alien, but it was just touched upon, never really a big thing. Whereas then Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon came out, and we realised, hang on a minute, in this Aardman universe, there is aliens life out there. Whereas since as the Ultimate Timeline Theory is a very, very big timeline with lots and lots of different movies on, and Shaun the Sheep sort of goes in the middle of the timeline, it basically has a whole section where it is basically just discussing about aliens, and that involves movies such as Monsters vs. Aliens. It involves movies such as Home, where aliens are quite a big part of it, whereas the Ultimate Timeline Theory goes through quite a lot of stages. It goes through stages where humans and animals get smarter. It goes through stages where technology gets smarter. It goes through stages where lots and lots of stuff happens, and if you want to see what like all the big stages are of and how it basically the timeline evolves over time, you can go and check it out in the description down below to our playlist, which will tell you all the information that you need to know. Now, Shaun the Sheep takes place a couple of movies before all this smart technology starts happening, and before this timeline is introduced to aliens and introduced to space and all that sort of stuff. But the Wallace and Gromit movies and the Shaun the Sheep movies sort of laid the groundwork. They were basically hinting at the fact that technology is getting a bit smarter and will soon get really smart, as we see later on in the movies. And I guess that's what Farmageddon is doing as well. It's taking an alien, so basically this means that we are first introduced to alien life in this big universe in this movie, and it basically is hinting at the fact that there are aliens out there, but only a small few amount of people know about them in this universe. But then a couple of movies later, a couple of years later, we'll finally get introduced to these new alien life forms and to this whole lot of technology. So that is how on earth it fits into the Ultimate Timeline Theory. So guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, then please make sure that you smash that like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you enjoyed Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon, make sure that you leave your thoughts down below in the comment section down there. And if you haven't seen the Aardman Theory, or you are interested in seeing the whole timeline, make sure you go and check it out by the link in the description. And if you haven't seen the really huge, our own personal timeline theory, the Ultimate Timeline Theory, and you want to know a bit more about that, make sure you go and check out our playlist and it will explain all about it. Also, while you're down there, why don't you say what you think of Shaun the Sheep movie 2 and how it basically changes slightly how these timelines work. Make sure you leave all your thoughts down there, and as always, we've been here on Gated Theories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.